What I didn't want you to do is be outside in the dark. I don't care how well lit someone says the place is going to be. And so we had this space open to you. So that's why we're here. So to answer that, yes, I understand you have a community center that really should be available to you. I understand that. Hopefully we can get to making it available for you, right? And so you're here. So what will happen over the next few weeks, because we can't address all of the issues, but we will come for the purpose of your meeting that was to be held at the community center. Everybody in agreement with that?
Yeah.
All right. And so then the next step is, while you do have a board of directors, whether you agree with them or not, board of directors, I will meet with them, and so will the commission on common ownership. I will also meet with all of you because I do want to hear your concerns. You are residents of the Kettering Homeowners Association. You deserve to be heard, and then hopefully we'll bring some resolution to some of your concerns. Are you with me there?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to do that expeditiously. The attendance that I had, that we have tonight, because it's not my meeting, right? Not yet. The one we have tonight, I'm hoping we'll have again, because your voice needs to be heard. So it can't be heard in your kitchen. It can't just be heard outside your door. You're going to have to bring it in so we understand that your angst, right? Because there's some angst to this, and what your concerns are, so we can help resolve. Everybody follow me there?
Yeah.
All right. And so I have my team tonight. You normally see us in red. OCR, that's our colors. I always say, you may not know our name, you'll see the color. You understand that when we come, resolution does happen. It may not be always the resolution that you want, but I don't like anything going into a black hole, right? And so we will definitely follow up with you. So I have a news team member that just joined us last week, so don't beat up on him yet. And that's Mr. Sidney back there, all right? So he's also here to learn too, right, on how we do things. And then I have Ms. Boucher, who is one of our common ownership community liaisons. She's been with us for almost a year. I have a theme here. I'm going here. We have a brand new unit, and I get to rewrite some things that I wasn't able to rewrite about a year ago. Right now, I do. And so we also have our deputy director, Courtney Mariette, who oversees the program side of the Office of Community Relations, which common ownership falls under. And then we have Angel Perez in the red. Sure, he's out there, and so. So Angel, he does a lot of stuff with us, okay? And so, again, so we're going to have a meeting after this. We will talk about what you're going to talk about this evening. Then we're going to have another meeting, probably a few others, so we can help you get to that resolution. We good with that?
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
so I'm now going to turn it over to Ms. Starks. Did I get that right?
Yes.
All right, perfect. You come up, right? And or if you want to just sit, you sure?
Yeah.
All right, and so you'll be able to do your presentation. And
Thank you, and thank you all for showing up. This is not the normal format that the League of Women Voters use when we're doing candidate forums, but we're gonna accommodate you. So just bear with us as we try to regroup what we normally would do. Okay, so I will introduce the League of Women Voters. We're the League of Women Voters of Prince George's County. To my left is Miss Yvonne Austin. She will be identifying when your time is up. There is a yellow card which goes up when you have 15 minutes left and 15 seconds, sorry. 15 seconds left, and then a red card goes up when you are to stop, okay? And she's the timekeeper. Next to Ms. Austin is the president of the League of Women Voters, Ms. Gloria Johnson. So would you like to say something before we get started?
No, I'm just sorry that we're here under circumstances that we're not normally in, but I am absolutely delighted to see you all this evening. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan political organization of women and men that encourages informed and active participation in government, works to increase understanding of major public policy, and influences public policy through education and advocacy. We don't just leave ourselves in governmental entities. I think Ms. Starks did a forum at my homeowners association several years ago. So we do go to homeowners associations, condos, all kinds of quasi-governmenting, money-collecting organizations that have control over citizens and impact their lives. We are so very happy that you came. We're probably gonna have to do a bit of rearranging because we need to have the candidates answer questions and have them in a position where everyone can see them. It's not necessarily for you all to see us, but you do need to see the person who is responding. Look at their body language. Look at whether or not they're scared to death. Look at whether or not they seem competent. And maybe one day we'll come back and we'll have all 7 of the candidates together. But we do apologize for the inconvenience, but it is what it is, and we're glad you're here.
I understand that we were supposed to have all candidates here tonight. You have 7 candidates to fill 4 seats. So we're gonna work with the 2 candidates that we have tonight, and we're gonna ask them a series of questions, and they will be given first an opportunity to have opening statements. We'll give them 2 minutes to share whatever they want to share in that 2-minute time frame. Then we will ask a series of questions. Then after the questions, we will give them a minute for closing statements in which they will say, or because you're only 2, the president says give you 2 minutes. So we'll give you 2 minutes for closing statements as well.
We are not renegades. The League of Women Voters has been in Prince George's County for 102 years. We started in the 1920s, and it was a group of women who would get beat up because they would do things that were unpopular for women to do. We focus on voter education, and we had a group of people invited the League of Women Voters to conduct a forum. Apparently, the HOA, I guess management company or whatever, upon receiving our information, decided to change their minds about allowing the forum to go forward. Let me tell you what our standard procedure is and has been for the 40-some years that I've been in the league. When we get an invitation from a city, a county, an HOA, or citizens, groups of citizens, we have a standard procedure. The first thing that happens is invitations go to every single candidate who is eligible. We got an eligibility list. We got some of the correspondence that had gone out to members of the Kettering population. And based upon that, we were told, or we saw that there were 7 eligible people for which you will be voting. Invitations went to each and every one of them. They were asked, and that's why you had heard me ask these 2 people, did you get my email? Because we do not allow somebody to sit up here and talk to you unless they're eligible. We go through the eligibility requirements, and we know in fact that they are a legitimate candidate. So once they're determined to be a legitimate candidate, I hope I'm not talking too loud.
No.
Then we send them our rules. There are certain rules that the League of Women Voters require. We don't do debates. So they will not argue with each other if they disagree with each other. That's not what this is about. It's not to see who can fight. It is to see who has the gray matter to take on problems and resolve them. And it gives you, as the voting population, to see who you are voting for. Are they able to answer questions? Are they focused on what the community is about, or are they a placeholder? We sent out 7 invitations, and so 2 people have appeared. Once we determine that there's someone who's eligible, that is the only person who can answer for that person during the forum. If they show up late, they can come and join. But if they don't come, no one can answer a question for them. So normally there would be 7 people answering each of the questions that Ms. Starks, who is a wonderful moderator, is going to ask them. We are neutral. However, the League of Women Voters, once we take a position on something, then we are allowed by our national organization, League of Women Voters US, and our state organization, League of Women Voters Maryland, to advocate on issues. And one of the issues that we advocate against is what? Voter suppression. And so while in fact we're neutral, we're not blind. And if we see an issue, we get on it. You know, you may see us write about things like virtual voting or, you know, other things that come up in the county. But in terms of HOAs and people who have your money, you have rights. And you have the right to be able to vote for viable candidates. And that's why we're here tonight. We will not take a long time because we understand from you all, you weren't prepared for the forum, you didn't get the notifications. There was a lot of blocking going on. But we're here and we will take a little bit of your time and ask maybe a series of few questions. Okay. Thank you so much.
And just before you begin, so again, I'm hearing that there's a level of confusion. And so again, you are here because you were scheduled to have a 6:30 meeting at the community center. That meeting was canceled by the management company and I believe your current board of directors, okay? And so in order for you to still host the meeting for your upcoming your voting program, I, then you come here to host your meeting, so you would not have to be outside. That's why you're earlier, and that's why we're here. We won't be outside, it's cold.
So, what we'll do is you have index cards. You can write questions down, and if we can have you to just send them over here, we will ask your question if we have sufficient amount of time to ask the question. So let's get started, and let's have Mr. Dowdy start with the opening statement for 2 minutes.
To read my opening statement because things were changing so fast that I would write something in and they'd say, no, we're going to be here. Then they'd say, no, we're not going to be here, we're going to be outside. So I want to thank you for being here, even though all that wood I chopped up to keep us warm. Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is James Dowdy. Jim to everybody. I'm running for a board seat with the Kettering Association. I was born in Columbus, Ohio, and I graduated from Ohio State University. I want to thank you all for coming. This situation, we need homeowners who are acquainted with what's going on, acquainted with the community functions, because they are not properly being run right now. I'm asking the homeowners to not accept the fact that we have 2 and 3 people in a committee, but we need a large committees with people who have integrity, who have intelligence, and who have energy to work a community that has 1,700 homes. I've witnessed a lot of shenanigans going on in the community as a result of the board. In the say about, well, I won't tell you how many years ago, I ran all over the country playing with the Harlem Globetrotters, and people love to see the shenanigans we used to perform on the court. But shenanigans belong in entertainment, not in a community where homeowners are trying to protect the value of their homes. So I will say that only because I know in the past 3 to 4 years, there have been so many shenanigans going on in the board. Changes made, rules violated, no one says a thing. I decided, with a little encouragement from my wife, to run for a board seat to see if we can't improve not only our community, but improve some of the functions that are going on. Your homeowners' participation is certainly welcome, and we look forward to your support and your participation, mostly your participation. Thank you.
Ms. Brenda Ceasy?
Just Caesar salad. Caesar, I'm Julius Caesar's great.
Okay. Okay.
Again, I'd like to thank you guys for coming out. I had served on this board before, and things have just gotten awful. I am on the board of 2 charter schools in DC, and if we acted like this board is doing, we would all be gone. Most of the stuff that we're doing is against the law, and we need to find somebody who can help us to actually get it in order. Again, I've been around since 1986. I worked feverishly with the Kettering Law Girls and Boys Club for about 30 years, from registration to passing out uniforms to running the concession stand, from collecting, and I made a lot of friends. And when we talk about this senior program, we don't really need them to give us any money, but it's great that we have it, because people that come down, they're people that you haven't seen for years and years, and you get reacquainted with them. Again, my main thing is our president, she removed 4 board members. Within 5 minutes, she elected 4 new board members. They do any and everything she wants. Just as for instance, we had a meeting last Monday, and some of the people that she put on, one of them, they were talking about some renovations that were being done at the center. And when he said, a board member, well, who's doing it? How much does it cost? What are they doing? And for me, and I would think any other intelligent person, they would say they knew it was going to pass anyway because of her other people. But what he should have said was, I abstain because I have not seen the documents yet. So if she can convince people to do what she wants to do, and the rest of us, we really don't matter, but we are just as invested in this neighborhood as anybody else. We don't get a lot of participation these days because people say, I'm just so frustrated, I don't want to deal with it. But what I keep telling people, if you don't get involved, it gives them what they think is their right to do anything they want to do. And it's not right for us. Our community used to be great. And then as far as our management company is concerned, with the Maryland HOA laws, and it says that, well, when they first told Mary and Jim that they couldn't have the meeting, they had paid. They have signed contract. And you just can't go back on things like that because you have one person that says, I don't want it to happen. And the other 5 candidates, they got notification just like we did. If they were interested and they cared, they would be sitting in their seats. We have just got to get people more involved in this community. We have to stand up. And after the meeting last week, one of the board members called me the next day and told me, why are you always causing problems? And I'm asking her, well, what do you mean? She said, you ask the same questions every meeting, and all I can say to her is, if you give me an answer, I don't have to ask the same question. But how does she think that she has the nerve to call me and say something like that?
Okay.
And I'm gonna leave it there before I get to,
Thank you both for your opening and candid statement. Okay, so the first question will go to you, Ms. Caesar. What will you do to ensure that the voice of the community is heard?
again, we need to get the community involved. And if we hear what they want, I think it's up to us to bring it to the rest of the board and say, this is what we need to do. This is what our residents expect from us. And if there's a real reason that they can't do it, then we need to put it out to the whole community why we can't do what you're asking.
Okay, Mr. Dowdy?
Yes, one of the things that I've noticed when I got involved very quickly is that they're holding the membership of committees to 1, 2, and 3 people. And my objective would be to have, like they used to have back in the day, have block captains, and you want to have 15 to 25 members in each committee, particularly in terms of doing the things of inspecting the homes, the grass, construction, those type of things. So the more people we have involved, the more we will be successful in terms of accomplishing the things that we need to do in the community without a lot of conflict. Because the way it is now, when you have 2 or 3 people in a committee, they're controlling everything. They're asking people to drive. They asked my wife, she says, I saw a house that has trash, and the chairperson, the president asked, but did you report it? That's not her job. That should be a committee responsible for those types of things.
Okay, you can keep the mic. The next question is, how does your unique life experience prepare you for this position?
So I went to adult education, and one of the programs that I remember so well was I had a program that I ran for American Management Association. It was called Self-Development Strategies for Black Managers. That was a very effective program to help train individuals how to manage activities and projects, and I think I can do that on the board.
Same question. How does your unique life experience prepare you for this position?
I graduated from Howard University. I taught school in DC. On my bio, I accidentally put 2 years for 3 years. Then I went into the banking industry. After that 3 years, I worked for what is now Bank of America for 39 years. I worked on the financial side, and I was a vice president. When I left, I was vice president in commercial real estate. My projects were from Virginia Beach to Delaware. So, it gives me, and I think, even though I didn't continue with my school teacher, like I said, I worked at the Boys and Girls Club for like 30 years. And if their parents would come up and say, he's not doing well, he got a D in his math, we didn't let him practice for 45 minutes. He had to sit down, and my daughter and I, we tutored them in whatever they weren't excelling in. And again, you guys have to excuse me. I think of our board as a bunch of third graders. You teach the kids how to follow the rules, and because people don't, that's why we're having so much crime in the neighborhood. And the same things happen with our board. And as Jim was saying, we have, between the houses and the townhouses, we have over 1,600 houses. And on our architectural control committee, 1 person. We have several residents who have asked, let me be on architectural control, and they say no. But the lady that left, who's our vice president, she would call me and she would say, such and such is going on at this house, you go take a look at it and call me back. And then I would do it, and then finally I got to say, if I'm not going to be on the committee and be involved with everything, and you get other people involved, I'm not wasting my time. I'm just not doing it.
But aren't there parliamentary
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
We forgot to give the rules. There is no interaction between the audience, there's no open mic, and the 2 of them cannot exchange information with each other. It's just informative. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, the next question goes to Ms. Caesar. What are your plans or ideas to engage more of the community members?
I just think it's just to let them see that we're gonna get together again. We wanna be with you. We wanna get your ideas of what's going on. It's gonna be a very hard sell, but after this election, hopefully, we'll be able to get more people involved.
Okay, Mr. Dowdy?
First of all, I think that if we can prevent the board and the management company from retaliating against people who do things that they don't want them to do, and they are very good at that. The president and the management association, they're working together to control everything. And I think that what we just need to do is just make it available that people can participate in the committees. And if they want to be in the committee, and so many people say, I want to be in the committee, I've asked to be in the committee, but no one calls me. I will put my phone number, my home and my cell phone number out so people can call. If you want to be on a committee, I will make sure that you get on a committee. If you know, currently right now, the board will not give out any board members' telephone numbers, addresses, and they're even reluctant to tell us who they are, because when we have meetings, it's virtual. So you don't know who you're talking to because they're constantly interchanging people on the board.
Okay, you can hold on to the mic. The question goes to you. What do you perceive to be issues facing the community, and how would you resolve them?
Well, that's going to be a tough one, because the shenanigans and the dishonesty that the board is currently conducting, they are very clever with making sure if you object, they will take you off the board. If you raise an issue, they'll take you off the board. And you can't do anything about it. The 5 members that were questioning the election, 2022 election, were kicked off the board and replaced with people who were not qualified. We didn't know who they were. They just appear. And sometimes when we're having a social down, the seniors, they'll walk in and they'll introduce themselves as being board members, and we don't even know who they are. We don't know what their qualifications are, and they haven't been elected by the body of the homeowners.
Okay, Ms. Caesar, same question.
I think the first thing I would do, and I know I'll get kicked off the board, is for the community, what I would want to do is to, oh gosh, I'm trying to be nice. Again, as Jim said, you can't have committees of one. I've told him you need to look up the word committee in the dictionary. The 5 people, she kicked off the 4 that wouldn't go along with her, and she picked 4 more that would go along with her. So it's going to be a hard road in the beginning. But what we need to do, again, is get the community involved in what's going on, and don't just let them think that it's just coming from us. It's just a mess. I don't know what else to say. And as far as the management company is, the management company should know what Maryland General Assembly says the law is. If they want to do something that's against it, he needs to stand up to them and say, you can't do that, or that's wrong. And if you call him, even when I was a board member, what he would say is, I only take direction from the president. And I tell him up front, we don't pay that much, we pay $150, but it's part of my $150 that's paying your salary. We went on a new portal a year ago. I sent him another text message telling him that I can't get on. And what he sent me back today is he said, you know, I tried it and everything's wrong. What kind of information do you want? I want everything that's happening. I want to see from our financials to what's going on with architectural control. And I think it's his responsibility. And I probably shouldn't say this, but at the last board meeting on last Monday, one of the members asked if he could stay on the call. Everybody else get off the call. I want to talk to Brett. And she asked him if he recorded the meetings. And what he says is, I don't, because it could cause some legal liabilities against this board. And somebody else was on there and heard the same thing, am I right?
Yes.
Okay, hold the microphone. What's your thoughts on having in-person and virtual meetings for the residents?
We have been asking that for over a year. They don't want to do it. At first he said they were worried about COVID. And I told him, you know, the president took COVID mandates off of that. So I had asked him, I said, then we can do it 3 ways. We can have in-house, we can do virtual because we have a big telephone, a big TV in the room, and we have a phone that has a speakerphone. We have been asking him that forever. The people who are on the call have been asking him that forever. Not only that, we're doing it over the phone now, and I don't remember saying it in any meetings. You got 2 minutes. They buzz you and they cut you off. That's it. There was no reason when we had that, because we had that center, that we can't have in-person meetings. And when I asked them, are you afraid what people are gonna say to you? No answer.
I might start out by saying, this management company's been our management company for 18 years. They should be working for us. In actuality, we are working for them. Anything that needs to be done, they direct it through the management company, and the management brings it back to the board, and they're always in agreement. My thing is that we need in-person meetings. We must have in-person meetings because we don't know one another. We don't see faces. And basically we can't communicate between one another because we don't know who's there. This company has been in there 18 years and they've never once sent out a notice trying to get other companies to see if we can reduce the price. As I understand, it's a rumor that they are getting more than what the record shows that they should be paid. But we can't get to it because if you ask them anything about it, they say, go to the management company. Then the management company says, well, we can't do it unless the president gives us permission to give it to you.
Okay, hold on to the microphone. What do you think the HO's role is in reducing waste of community funds and resources? What change will you try to implement to avoid the waste of funds?
One thing is transparency. You need more than just transparency in terms of putting out printed records of things. You need to explain why you're doing what you're doing, and if you have a problem or you need a job done, you've got to prove that you've gotten at least three bids on a bid to do a job. But one of the problems we have right now is that the board, which is basically a mother owns a company, the son is the one who deals with us, and they talk when you talk to them, you talk like they own the company. They own the community, and they should be reporting to us, but instead we are reporting to them, and that's because they've been there for 18 years, and no one has really challenged their authority to do the things that they do.
Okay, Ms. Caesar, same question.
Along with the financial issues, when I was on the board before, anytime any monies were spent out of our center account, 2 board members had to approve it, and before it was sent to the management company to pay it. When it went to the management company, all of the board members got a copy of it. I was actually on the board and I saw these 2 checks that were written to one of the board members.
What?
I asked, not on a call, what they were for. I never got an answer. So in the meeting, what I said was, there's a check for $50 and there's a check for, I think it was like $110 that was payable to the board member. I said, I need to know what it was for. No answer that night, but then I got a call and it said, you embarrassed me on the call, you know, you're making people think that I'm stealing money. I don't know what you're doing. If you're spending our money and you're writing a check, I wanna know what it's for. And that stopped when we got this new president. Before, like I said, anything that was sent to the management company to be paid, every board member would get an email. And anytime we decided on anything, I hate to tell tales out of school, but I mean, you know, it's just a mess. They think they can do whatever they want to do. And when he was asking me why I wanted, what information I was looking at, I want to see the financials. I want to know what's going on. It's my money. I've lived here forever. And at this point, I don't want to have to uproot myself and move to someplace else just because I'm disgusted with this board of directors.
Okay. Hold on to the microphone. All right, so if you became a board member, would you be interested in selecting a new management association?
Absolutely, absolutely. I used to like them. I have no confidence in them now. And just like I say, if I call you and I ask you a question, just like with the president and everybody else, I expect an answer. You're dealing not only with my money, but the money for 1,600 other homeowners. Anything we think needs to be done, they have to decide on it. Our park is a mess. As a matter of fact, we got a $500,000 grant from Melanie Griffith to do some work in our building and on the center. The minutes came out of September 2022. There was supposed to be a committee that was gonna help them decide what needed to be done in the building. One of the people that they asked is sitting here, and I did. Never got a call. So now we understand that the work is being done. But the only reason some people have it was because I insisted that I wanted a copy of it, and I emailed it to a couple of people. And I keep telling them that community center belongs to 1,600 houses, not just you guys. And there is some money left over, but our field where we used to play football at, it's a mess. Out of the money that's left, they need to do some work on that field. We used to have community day down there, we used to do everything. We'd set tables up, people put the street they lived on, had their name tags so you could meet people. The field is so bad, we can't do anything. But the lady that's doing it all, she's an event planner for her church. And what she originally wanted to do, which I think failed, even though we're not sure what's happening, she used to rent our center for her church events and make money. And she would tell us, well, this needs to be done and that needs to be done, but they don't have a room big enough in their church to do it. And what I told her is, you need to talk to your church and have them to bill or change out part of their church so you can have your events there. She's making money off our community. Mm-hmm.
Can I ask you to repeat the question, please?
If you become a board member, would you be interested in selecting a new management association?
Very much so. I also would be interested in having the board members, the chair people or persons of each committee, and even the committee members to go to the housing and get training in housing. Housing is going to be a big problem because people are getting older. The housing ownership is changing. The rules in terms of how do you handle that is very critical. I just recently bought a book called Homesick, I'm trying to bone up on what's happening with housing in the country, because our management right now, they're allowing companies come in and build cheaper houses in our community. They're allowing people to, if they challenge people in terms of what you're going to do with a house. Well, you need to know that if I can't live there, I'm probably going to pass it on to my children. Now, where's the ownership there? Because it's critical. But I think we really need a new management, and we need training and preparation for the future, because the future is coming, and we need to be ready for it.
Thank you. You can hold on to the microphone. Will you be committed to having board meetings and advertising the meetings ahead of time?
Yes. You know, let me say this. Our president right now, the only time I see her doing some work is when she's checking in people coming to have a social in the senior citizens. We have a social. She wants everybody to sign in, sign your name, sign your address, and if more people than two comes to be into a house or wants to be assigned to a house, she won't let them in. She runs them away. The other day, we were playing cards and bid whist, and one of the ladies came in that was a visitor, and she was going to sign under my name, but two people had already signed under my name. So she went over to Miss Adams and asked her if she could sign under Miss Adams' name. Miss Adams said, "No, I didn't invite you." Now, she has a very, should I say, a very rough personality. She doesn't have friends, but the ones that she does have, she controls them with an armed fist. And because of that, you can't get to them. Just like why they're not here, because she told them not to be here. There's only one person I know said they wouldn't be available, but the others, she told them not to be here, and that's why she said we weren't going to have it. I think that we really need to break that block, and I don't know how you do it, because my experience, particularly in college, if you got in trouble, they gave you a lawyer. We don't have a lawyer. The only lawyer we have has been there for years, and he does absolutely nothing for the members. He follows in lockstep with the board and the management company.
Okay. Ms. Caesar? Need me to repeat the question? Okay, if you are become a, oh no, it's a new question. Okay, if you're elected to the board, how would you enforce the bylaws of the Kettering community?
I think the first thing that needs to happen is the management company needs to have a session with the incoming board every year. Because a lot of us are gonna sit down and we're not gonna read the rules. And even if you read them, you're not gonna remember them all. You can bring forward and tell them, this is not right, that's not right, but we need to get a management company who knows what the General Assembly says HOAs can do and what they can't do. And he needs to try to do enforcement. Again, he needs to have a session with the new board members. And everybody's not gonna write the same answers down, but if there's a question, we can talk about it. And then we can go to Maryland General Assembly and find out what the rules are. You just can't make things up as you go. You just can't do it. And just like I said, everybody seems to be afraid of her. She gets people to, just like I was telling you earlier about this guy who said he knew nothing about the building, but he was gonna vote on it anyway. He should have abstained. The other guy that just came down, he was one of the ones that took the place of one of the four, and he was gonna give a report. And what our president said was, "I sent you an email." This is on the call. He says, "I didn't see it." "Well, let me send it to you again." So she sends it to him again, we wait till he get the email, and then he reads it. And my thing, even if he is new and you're going through that, just say, he's new, I have the report. Just let me give the report for you. Then we have a lady, she does own a home in Kettering, but she hasn't lived here in like 15, 20 years. She's in the military. She does a newsletter. How does she know what goes on in the community? How? And then what she put in the newsletter was about how some people trying to cause a disturbance in the community, and we're not trying to cause a disturbance. We just want things to go right. And then telling people don't vote for the first 4 people on the ballot. And I understand we were passing out stuff, and one lady said, I said, have you filled out your ballot? She said, oh, some lady came over to my house yesterday. She said, I really told her I wasn't interested. So she signed her ballot and gave it to the president.
This system is set up to work, but it doesn't work because you've got conflict of interest in different people. The management company is supposed to make sure that the board does the correct thing, and then you're supposed to have an attorney. If you have a tie or a conflict there, the attorney is the one who rules on who's right. But if you have a management company that's running the president, and the president is benefiting from the management keeping things in line, and you have an attorney who sits there, and he's been there for years being paid, and he doesn't do anything. You send something to him, you may never hear from him again. But he is supposed to be the person who breaks the tie when there's a tie. And management is supposed to hold the board in line, and they're not doing it because they are profiting from the fact that the management and the board is doing nothing. And I don't understand why other than they want to control the thing, why they don't open the committees up. We need committees who are doing things and helping. The committees are supposed to work out the problems, and they make recommendations to the board, and the board makes a decision. When we have these virtual meetings on phone, they say, what about the architecture? Do you have a report? No. Do you have anything? No. We move on to the next. And we have no idea what's out there, what should have been done, what could have been done, but they control it to the point where nothing said, nothing done, nothing gets done.
Okay. Thank you both for doing a great job of answering the questions. I know that we didn't ask all the questions, but I'm sure you want to have a little meeting after this. So what we're going to do now is stop and pause and have you to do your closing statements. And since we started with you, Mr. Dowdy, for the opening, we'll have Ms. Caesar to do her 2-minute closing statement.
Again, I want to thank everybody for coming out and want you to know that I care about our community. I want our community to be like it was 8 years ago before we got this president. And if I get on, I'm going to do my very best to help that and to help keep you guys involved in the community. Again, just about everything that we're doing is actually against the law. And not only do I blame, well, what I'm going to say is I blame our management company first because they should be putting them in line. I've been around a long time. I've done a lot in the community. When I was on the board, when I haven't been on the board, I've been going to board meetings. I've probably missed 2 since 1986 because I care about what's going on. And before we had a little bit of say, and now they call me the next day after a meeting and tell me I'm a troublemaker. And all I want are answers. And again, I hope that all you guys that are here will get on these calls. If you have questions, I hope that you'll ask your questions and tell them that you expect an answer. 3 or 4 of us, if we said it's like, oh, we got 1,600 houses, only 3 of them complaining. Let's just move on. And that's not the way it works. It's just not. And again, I'm hoping that you guys will vote for me, and you guys will also get involved in the community. Our building was done several years ago. One of the ladies that's here, she's an interior designer, and she has said that what we needed to do was to seal the floors. They look a mess. They look a mess. They listen to nobody.
You know, the problem when you have a problem and it becomes kind of festered and people get frustrated is when you can't get straight answers. Just like the meeting tonight, it changed 3 or 4 times. We went in, we wanted to have a community meeting, okay? The next day, no, you can't have that. And I said, okay, well then we'll pay for the room. 2 days later, you can't have that. See, and that is very frustrating with the community and the homeowners, because they hear one thing and then there's change. Then you say, well, what can we do this? For example, people on the last meeting were saying we need to have a forum like this so we know who's on the board. And nothing was done. So when we took this initiative to do it, then Alicia says, well, first of all, the management company come out and said, no, we're not going to partner with the League of Women's Voters. Our building is too small, and we might do that in another time, but we're not going to do that. When we overworked over them, then the board comes out and says, no, you can't have it. See, those are kinds of frustrating situations that homeowners begin to back away. They don't want to participate. They want to get involved because yes, no, you can't. No, you can't. Yes, you can. And that's the kind of program that we need to do away with. I don't know whether we need to get the county involved or the state involved, but we got to break the management company and the board in Arizona. But it's Alicia Adams, and she is determined she's going to control everything. And if it's not, she wants to come at you. My wife asked something on the phone, and the next day we were playing cards. She wanted to know why my wife didn't ask her in person. Why you say that on the telephone? Well, you say it on the telephone because there's no other way to say it. So I just think we need to, somewhere or another, break the lock that the management has on the board.
Thank you guys again for coming out. This is such a nice audience to be able to hear the answers to some of the questions and concerns you have. We want to thank you as the League of Women Voters for inviting us to participate in your candidate forum. We wish both of you luck. We wish all candidates luck. You can't select all of you, but there's only 4 seats, so however many who win, we're just excited that they will win, and hopefully they will bring to you what you are asking for. So I just ask that you stay informed, and if you get too tired and you don't want to hear what your community is saying, come join us with the League of Women Voters. We'll be glad to have all of you. And I promise you, we will have room for you. Thank you so much.